Good afternoon, everybody. Christian here. Today, I'm going to share something with you. This is not a prophetic dream, but the fulfillment of a prophetic dream that I shared at some point in time on my YouTube channel. And this is important because this is also fulfillment of what God's been speaking to us about, fulfillment of His Word, as well as the reaping of what we've been sowing. All of that is coming to pass in this season, and I'm experiencing it, so I want to share this story with you. But I also want to tell you this story because it may apply to you. You may be going through the exact same thing and not realize it, so let me share this with you. Let's say today is August the 26th, 2023, and for the past year and a half, maybe two, I don't know, roughly in that ballpark. I guess 1.5 years anyway. Sometime back, you guys know I went to work for Walmart. God told me to go ahead and go get employed, and so I went to work for Walmart for a while. And while I was there, my wife and I, we lived below our means. We stocked, saved a bunch of money. And I don't know, we had about 20 grand saved up, and the Lord told me to move it into trading Forex. And it's something that I wouldn't normally do because I have a viewpoint that that's not something I can do. I've tried it in the past and failed miserably. But because God said to do it, I would then go do it. That's the right thing to do. And so I quit my job, prayed about it, quit my job, saw some immediate success, which confirmed to me, you'll be okay if you quit your job kind of thing. And I made videos talking about that back when it happened. I forget the numbers exactly, but I think I made $14,000, the day before I quit my job, and then the day after I quit my job, I lost $14,000, which immediately put me back in a, fight or flight mode kind of thing. It was like, but I knew God was calling me in this direction, and I kept seeking God, and He kept telling me the same thing, just keep doing it, and so I went after it, and I went after it with the assumption on my part that, well, I will get through this. God told me I would, so don't worry about, taking it slow, just go right after it with everything you've got. And so I just started spending tons of money to take challenge after challenge after challenge to try to get funded by prop firms. For those of you who don't know what that is, just think of it as you prove yourself as a capable trader. They give you capital, you can use their capital to trade, and then you get a portion of the profits. It's a real simple concept. But you have to be able to beat the challenge, and that requires a consistently profitable trading strategy. And I didn't have that. I kept going after trying to discover it, but I wasn't able to do it. Even when I thought I had, I would then go forward test it, and it would fall apart. And so I'm like, no, this is not right. And anyway, I ran out of money, and so I started going into credit to try to pay for these challenges and so forth and so on. And then I ran out of credit, and then money was even less because I didn't have the job anymore. And so it was just, I ran into a brick wall in a sense. And so I kind of just put it on the back burner, not because I didn't feel that God had said it. I knew He had said it, but because I wasn't able to do it. I didn't have the capital to do it, and I didn't have the understanding that would allow me to successfully pass this stuff and move forward and become a consistently profitable trader. So I just back burnered it, and started working toward the other things that God had spoken in my life, because, if I can't get through in this area, maybe it's for another time or whatever. And so I just left it there. And it stayed there for a good while, several months maybe. I just left it on the back burner. And I was talking to one of the guys that watches these videos sometimes, and he was saying, just keep trying. I was like, no, I'm burnt. I've tried every idea that I can come up with, and I don't have a way that I can see to go forward. And so I'm just done. I can't do it. And I left it like that. And I started looking at, are there other ways to interpret what God had shown me? And maybe it's not literal, maybe it's figurative, maybe it's, maybe you trying made other people try and then they get through and you don't. Just that didn't really make sense to me. So I just kind of shelved it and said, God will make this make sense to me when He's ready. So anyway, roughly a week ago, I was focused on, what I'm normally focused on, other things that God has spoken to me, and the idea came to my mind, and it was, what about the trading thing that God had told you, your trading journey? He showed you getting through and being successful in that area, and you're not, ergo, maybe you quit too early, And that was just a thought in my mind. And at first I kind of was like, yeah, maybe not, whatever. And for those of you who don't know, I had a conversation with God a long time ago, back when I first, turned my life back over to God, and I was like in my early 20s. And in this conversation I had with him, I asked a question and my words went up, and I could see them go up, and then he answered and they came back. Not my words, but his words came back to me. And then I asked another question, but the second time I didn't see his response come back to me. I just knew his response in my mind. And so I'm telling you that so that you understand that sometimes your thoughts are not your thoughts, they're God's thoughts, right? He's trying to give you direction. Sometimes it could be the enemy as well. But in this particular case, I was keen to notice that this idea kept coming back to my mind, and I was realizing, all right, God is sending me back. And so I went back last week and said, all right, let me look into this, or maybe it was a week and a half ago. And so I started pulling up the data again and coming to the same conclusions that I'd come to before. And then I had this idea in my mind, like, well, what if X? And so I said, all right, well, if that were true, then this would be true as well. And I started to move things around. And sure enough, before too long, I had a working trading model, something that I knew would work. And on the back testing, it was fine. And then I had another idea, and that altered things as dramatically as well. I'm like, wow, okay, if I did that, then I would get even better response. And so I started again and again, started getting another little layer of idea, another idea, another idea. And each one of these made it better and better and better. And like I said, I posted in the community section on this YouTube channel some of my results that I've seen after I forward tested it, because that's an important element. Going back and looking at the past and saying, well, I could have traded here and here and here is one thing, but then to go forward and say, okay, in live markets, how did you perform? And you're still beating it and you're still seeing the same results, then you have something, And so that's where I'm at now, and I'm really excited and blessed by what God has just done for me. I can see it, my family doesn't see it, but I know what I'm looking at, and I know that our situation's changed. It'll take me a little while, excuse me, it'll take me a little while to, pass their challenges and then get funded and then, trade with live money and then get paid and so forth and so on. But our situation's changed. I know it. And it's just a matter of me going through the process that I'll have to go through to get there. And then I can move, I can pay off debts, I can, all those other things are, all can stem from this one little moment that happened last week. So I want to encourage those of you who have been hearing from God, that God told you something and you believed him, and you know that now is that season for reaping what you've been sowing and what you've been believing him for. And maybe you had to shelf it because you couldn't see a way through. If God's bringing it to your memory, if he's reminding you, saying, hey, remember this thing I told you about? Go back and look at it again. It's like the prophet told the servant, go look 7 times, because it may be just the size of a man's, a cloud the size of a man's fist, but it can bring massive breakthrough. And that's what it was for me. It was just something that I had pretty much given up on right at the point of breaking through, I know, not giving up completely, because I had shelved it thinking someday this will make sense to me, but right now I can't, Right now is that time for that breakthrough. And so all you need is that idea, or that series of ideas that will start to unfold what you've been missing, So I just want to encourage you with that word and share with you that this is evidence. This is all the proof that you need that God is bringing to pass the spoken word that he has over your life, the Rhema word, And so now is that season, and you should be encouraged and moving forward. For those of you who say, Christian, I've been away from God. I've not been following him. I don't have a spoken word over my life. What do I do? The answer is simple. It is impossible to please God without faith. We must believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So if you want the promise, if you want the reward, then diligently seek him, and he will speak over your life. Something that is pertinent to you. You've been made with a particular purpose and direction, that God wanted you to do something in this world, and what he has for you is perfect for you. So anyway, if you've already got words spoken over you, great, move forward with that. And if you haven't, then seek him, and he will Call unto me and I'll answer you and show you great mighty things which you do not know. So everybody has an opportunity. It's not just for certain people. It's anybody who wants to, just lay down their life and follow him. What you can do on your own anyway will not hold anything compared to what God can do with you, through you. So I just kind of want to encourage you. I also hurt my back last night, just taking a hot shower. The water hit my back and my back just went like this, and I'm just like having a hard time. I appreciate prayers there, as well as for someone in my family who needs to turn their life around, right? So be praying for them as well. I guess that's about it. God bless, take care. Also, thank you guys for your support over the years. It's been very encouraging for me as well. To giving you guys these videos, the things that God shares with me to share with you is one thing, and I know it encourages you, it encourages me. But hearing back from you guys as well, and even you guys sharing your dreams and your words with me, it's also encouraging to me. And so it's a two-way street. I just want to say thank you. God bless, take care. See you next one.